Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning, how are you? Did we get an email this morning?
Are you referring to the announcements, Your Honor, or are you referring to the state's recommendations?
Yes,
Yeah, to both, yes.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have
Mr.
either.
Jordan said he sent it to you, Judge Macy. Did you not receive it?
And I
Let's
sent the recommendations
see.
Sunday evening.
I have probation, all purpose, add on. There we go.
And Your Honor, let me know if you still need me to forward those recommendations from the state.
No, I think I have both of them in Mr. Jordan's email.
Okay, wonderful.
I
Thank you.
do. I do have them. All right. But I'll be printing as we go. All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Judge Regina Mincy, and this is our state all-purpose calendar for Tuesday, October the 24th, 2023. And we will get started. And who do we have first, deputies? Or I see at the
I'm going
table.
to start off with position number 7, Mr. Cole.
Okay.
And this is the regular calendar.
Right. All right, and this is 23 CR 006100H, Andrew Cole, charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct and 2 counts of simple assault. And state.
Yes, Your Honor, this does look like it will be a bond hearing, so I would like to go over the facts and the recommendation on this. Since it is a bond, I believe the defense is asking for a bond modification on this case.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Your Honor, the bond is currently set at $7,000 surety bond, $3,000 on the 2 simple assaults, $1,000 on the disorderly conduct. That was set by Your Honor. And let me just double check on the conditions of that bond. So the conditions of that bond, and Your Honor set that bond on October 11th of 2023. The conditions being no further contact with Mr. Flavio Underwood and Christopher Underwood, as well as a stay away from 1201 West Peachtree Street and 1 Atlantic Center. This case, just to refresh Your Honor's recollection, it happened on October 9th of 2023 at 1201 Peachtree Street in Atlanta. Officers were called out to an armed person at that address, which was the High Museum. When they arrived there, they met with the High Museum security officer who reported that staffers were reporting that there was a white male in a blue shirt pushing a cart and waving a knife at individuals and shouting obscenities. The security officer then began tracking the location of the individual, who was later identified as the defendant, and was giving the officer updates while the officer was canvassing the area. The officer then received reports that the defendant was at the Whole Foods at 2214th 14th Street, a gas station, and at the Arts Center MARTA station at 1255 West Peachtree Street. Each call that subsequently came in reported that there was a white male wearing a blue hoodie pushing a shopping cart, swinging a knife at bystanders as he roamed the downtown area. Georgia Tech University police then reported that they had detained the defendant, who was again wielding the knife and pushing a shopping cart around 3rd Street and Spring Street. The officers then had an opportunity to interview Flavio and Christopher Underwood at the scene. Mr. Christopher Underwood stated he was waiting for his husband, Flavio Underwood, in order to pick him up from work at One Atlantic Center, which is 1201 Peachtree Street. He stated shortly after he arrived at his husband Flavio's building that if Mr. Christopher Underwood witnessed the defendant fling a shopping cart directly at his vehicle. When Mr. Underwood got out to inspect the vehicle and inspect the damage, the defendant began swinging the knife at him and swinging it wildly toward him. As a result of that, Mr. Christopher Underwood got right back into his car and until Mr. Flavio Underwood came to the vehicle. Mr. Flavio Underwood stated he was leaving for work and approached his husband Christopher Underwood's car, saw the defendant yelling obscenities and unintelligible words. At that point, Christopher Underwood got out of the car and informed Flavio Underwood that the white male had flung his shopping cart into the car and damaged the rear driver's side door. Flavio then approached the male, the defendant, but realized the defendant had a knife, and so the defendant proceeded to wave the knife at Flavio Underwood as well. At that point, the defendant began to walk away, and Flavio Underwood, concerned for the safety of others, began following him on foot. And after walking about 2 blocks, at that point, the Georgia Tech police officers encountered the defendant and placed him under arrest. The defendant has 16 cycles, Your Honor, 1 in Pennsylvania, 15 in Georgia. That includes a 2020 burglary smash and grab arrest that was not presented to the grand jury. He has cases out of Pennsylvania going up to 2013 for violations of the Drug Act. He also has several FTAs and probation violations, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. We did have an opportunity to speak to Christopher Underwood. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated he does not know the defendant, had never seen the defendant before, does not want contact. But I think the state's concern here is that this didn't just happen to Flavio and Christopher Underwood. As Your Honor has heard, there were several calls coming in to the police that this defendant was walking around just waving a knife at people. This was a very dangerous situation for both everyone he encountered as well as himself. And we do have some serious concerns here about MHET. And so with that being in mind, we are asking that the bond remain as set due to the danger that this defendant presents to the community and the risk of reoffense here, given his lengthy history in both Georgia and Pennsylvania. We would like to sound for Mr. Christopher or Flavio Underwood.
All right, it's Mr. Underwood present today. Mr. Underwood. I don't think that he is.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, PDs.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Mr. Coe's remembrance of the events are vary greatly from what the state just outlined. Mr. Coe was pushing a shopping cart, did have a pocket knife in his hand, small pocket knife, at which time he had a splinter, was trying to remove that splinter with the pocket knife. The cart got away from him, was not flung into the car, rolled into the car. And as Mr. Underwood got out, Mr. Coe is actually trying to close the knife. It's a locking device on the knife. So pulling up, I think he got a little flustered and frustrated and was trying to close the knife, was not waving it, did not threaten anyone. He has no violence in his past. You heard about 16 cycles. Sounds like it was almost all drug related as far as I know. He's been in jail now 15 days. He is employed with Kirkland & Sons Home Restoration. He's been with them for about 6 months. He has a stable place to stay. And we're just asking that at this point, he be allowed to sign his own bond.
I do somewhat recall the victims initially being on this the initial bond hearing a couple of weeks ago. And I understand he may not have any violent offenses in the past, but I do have some concerns.
Just to reiterate, we don't consider this violent. We don't think that he was intended to do any violence to anybody. There's no allegation that he actually threatened them. I think this may be somebody overreacting to the situation at hand.
Then it would have been several somebodies. There were multiple calls that came into the police that multiple people encountered this defendant waving a knife at them. So it's not just Mr. Flavio Underwood and Christopher Underwood are the two witnesses who remained to talk to the police, but there were calls, Your Honor, coming throughout. As I recited in my facts, there were multiple calls coming throughout that the officers were tracking this individual in through the downtown area doing this. So I understand the PD's contention, but that just doesn't bear out from the facts.
My understanding that the person tracking was actually Mr. Underwood, who followed him.
As
And he's
well as
the
the
one making
security
the call.
officer, as well as the security officer from the High
Who-
Museum.
Who had
where
been
it started.
informed by Mr. Underwood what happened. I don't think there were any other, my reading of it, there was nobody else that actually saw this in the waving of the knife other than Mr. Underwood.
Again, Your Honor, as I stated, it was also the security officer from the High Museum who observed this defendant doing this, who also began following the defendant and was reporting to the officer, trying to get the defendant's location.
All right, I'm going to, I will modify the bond, each of the simple assault charges. I will reduce the bond to 2,000 on each and the 1,000 on the disorderly. So that will be a $5,000 surety bond. So I will reduce it to 5,000 from 7,000.
And Your Honor, will the existing conditions still apply, the stay away and the no further contact?
All conditions will still remain.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
We'd like to reset Mr. Code to next Tuesday. There is an offer from the state that he's going to consider.
All right.
Thank you.
What do we have next?
We got Fort South, position number 3.
Okay.
That's the announcement.
Fort South, position number 3.
It's Mr.
All right.
Gary, Judge. This is a negotiated plea.
Negotiate.
Section 2, sorry.
This is 23 CR 006099Y. Jermaine, is it Chappelle? Charge of 1 count of simple battery, 2nd count of theft by taking. Dave?
I'm sorry, this position 3, Mr. Chappelle,
That is correct.
he's reset the next week.
Oh, I see. Reset 1031. I just saw that as well. Is that correct, State?
That is my understanding based on the PD's announcements from last night.
Okay. For South, he's reset to October the 31st.
Position 20, Mr. Powell.
Just call him. Yeah, you have the number. Okay. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. This is 23 CR 006112A. Mr. Powell is charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Is this a bond hearing or plea?
It's a bond hearing, Your Honor. He's pleading not guilty and asks the court to consider lowering his bond.
All right. Deputy Falk,
Yes, Your Honor. The bond is currently set at $3,000. This incident happened September 26th of 2023. At 3 p.m., the officers were at the Fulton County Government Center. They observed cameras that showed the defendant grab Miss Brittany Stansberry by her neck and forcefully throw her to the ground. He then struck her with a closed fist and a kick. Again, I reiterate, this was captured on video at the Fulton County Government Center. This defendant has 14 arrests. He has his most recent family violence battery was 2021. The victim in that case was Miss Brittany Stanberry, who is the same victim in our current case. That case, I believe, is still open in Clayton County, which is where that incident occurred. The defendant also has let me just double check on this. I'm seeing another family violence offense as well. And I just want to make sure that that is not the same family violence offense that was out of Clayton. Your Honor will just give me a moment. There are also a total of 14 cycles here. As I stated, and my apologies, let me clarify that 2021 Clayton County family violence battery was a conviction, not an arrest. So he was convicted of that. He was given 12 months with 60 days to serve in confinement and $300 fine. That incident, as I stated earlier, also involved Miss Brittany Stanberry, as well as criminal trespass. The defendant has probation violations from 2019, an arrest from burglary in 2019, and has, it appears, a conviction for entering auto and criminal damage to property in 2015, as well as burglary. So we do have some serious concerns regarding this defendant's risk of reoffense, particularly in regard to Ms. Stanberry, since he was just convicted less than 2 years ago of a family violence battery against her and was now caught on video abusing her again at the Fulton County Government Center. For that reason, we are asking that the bond remain the same, and we would like to sound for Ms. Stansberry.
all right, Ms. Stansberry, do we have Brittany Stansberry on the Zoom? No, she's not.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right, PD McLean.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Powell simply is asking the court to consider a lower bond. He cannot afford the one he's got now. He does have a child that's got a birthday this week. He needs to get back to his family. And it's just, since it is the one count and it is the family consideration, that's simply what his request is, Your Honor. If Your Honor can't consider a signature bond, which he would love to have, something in the neighborhood of $1,000 to $1,500, his family is trying to make.
And Your Honor, I would just like to reiterate that Your Honor granted that $3,000 surety bond on October 11th, 2023, with a no further contact with Brittany Stansberry. Stay away from 141 Pryor Street unless he is conducting official business, and stay away from 447 Boulevard Northeast.
All right, I'm going to deny the modification. I'm going to keep the bond as it is. I slightly remember the case as well when I heard it a couple of weeks ago. And I think $3,000 surety bond will be the bond remaining at this time.
Understood. We'll talk about it in the back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state would withdraw our plea recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about. If I don't get a chance. to-
This is for South. We have position 9 through 12. Probation.
That's a Lampkin. That's Mr. Lampkin, I believe, correct?
Mr. Lampkin, yes.
Is Ms. McLeod on?
Don't see her yet.
Oh, and
Let me try to reach out to her and make sure she knows she has a client on the calendar this morning.
Okay.
while we're on that topic of probation, could we have the probation department call the extension to 2392, please?
If you can, message me the number in the private chat,
Oh,
I'll
it's-
call you.
Oh, we don't mind saying this number in public. It's 404-612.
Oh, give me 1 second. 404
612-2392.
2392.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Are they done with you?
Yeah, he's within the files.
Okay,
Yeah,
next, Judge, we'll do position
Yeah.
number 21, Mr. Scott.
That's fine.
Okay. This is 23 CR 006257F. Curtis Scott, charged with 1 count of loitering or prowling and a 2nd count of theft by taking. Is this going to be a plea?
It is a plea, Your Honor. Time, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, would you like me to put the recommendation on the record?
Yes, please.
On count 1, the loitering or prowling, the state's recommendation is 12 months probation, 45 days to serve, 23 days. His credit for time served is from October 2nd of 2023. No further contact with Beverly Kroom. Stay away from 2727 East Point Street in East Point, Georgia. And on count 2, the theft by taking, time served concurrent with count 1. The state would ask the defense if they stipulate to venue, identification, and factual basis for the plea.
All right.
And we would like to sound for Ms. Kroom.
All right, is the victim on? Miss Beverly Kroom?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. Just out of an abundance of caution, we like to sound for them just in case.
Okay, thank you. Dee Dee McLean?
Your Honor, this is a negotiated plea, and would this be the type of, the state mentioned probation, would this be the type of non-reported probation, as there are no requirements other than the stay away and the no contact?
It would be balance suspended as long as he stays away from that address and has no further contact with Miss Beverly Kroom.
Very good. The reason I ask is, it has to do with whether or not I fill out a contact sheet for probation.
Completely understand.
Administrative question. Thank you. I believe that East Point Street may be in Union City rather than in East Point itself.
I will double check that address.
So we do stipulate, Your Honor, to the 3 necessary elements, and he does ask the court to accept his negotiated plea of guilty.
All right. Mr. Scott, I understand that you wish to plead guilty. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions to make sure that you understand what you're doing today and that your plea is voluntarily, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, first question, are you under the influence of any medication, unprescribed medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time that would impair your understanding?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked or affected by a guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And so as to the charge of loitering and prowling, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of theft by taking, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, and do you understand the conditions of no further contact with Ms. Croom and to stay away? Did we confirm that address, Deputy Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. It seems it may have been just a complete typo on my part. It is 6240 Longino Drive, Union City, Georgia, 30291. I put the address in the chat to the litigation manager, the corrected address.
Okay, good.
So it's
All
six
right.
4-0.
6240.
Okay, thank you. Stay away from here. Stay away from. Yes, sir. Just stay away from there and just stay out of trouble. Yes, sir. That's all you have to do. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept that guilty plea. And we understand about probation as well.
Next, we have, this is for South, we have position number 25.
All right.
Your Honor, in that case, we had marked it to be announced. He was not in the zone, or he was not in the, excuse me, he was not in the floor or the zone that he was, the computer was indicating. So we haven't interviewed him yet. Considering what the offer is, it would not hurt to reset that.
Yeah, did you say?
All right. Ms. Strong, what date are we resetting to?
Hold on 1 second.
Anytime, 1 week would be fine.
The 31st.
The first, okay. So we'll
31st.
reset that to October 31st.
Very good, thank you.
What number was that?
Position 25. Is it Mr. Eulis?
I don't know what's his last name. Croatius, is it a Croatius? I'm not hearing that one for that.
Huh?
Is that him? I don't let you figure that out.
I was on phone.
Okay, so-
So I'm asking you.
Oh, see, I don't know. Oh, who is that from?
He's on phone. Yeah, that's it.
That's Mr. Lewis. He's got it. He's got it.
Who do we have next, Deputy?
Are you guys done with what's up?
Yes.
Okay, come on. Position 22, Mr. Siebert.
Okay.
You know, that's a bond request.
All right. This is 21 CR 002418H. Mr. Is it Siebert, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence? Dave?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. In this incident, and let me just, what Mr. Siebert. This incident occurred on May 17th, 2021 at 3036 Elite Lane in Alpharetta, Georgia. The incident occurred on that date and they were dispatched. The officers were dispatched to that address in reference to domestic dispute. They spoke with Mr. Jared Ogle. Mr. Ogle stated the defendant did not pay his rent, so he turned off the lights in the defendant's room and waited at the fuse box because the defendant had been in his room all day. The defendant then came out of his room and Mr. Ogle confronted him about the rent. Mr. Ogle was standing in front of the fuse box, at which point the defendant pushed him. A scuffle ensued. Mr. Ogle sustained several scratches on his arm. The defendant did not sustain any injuries. I will point out that the reason the defendant is in custody currently is because he failed to appear on his 2021 case, which led to his bond being revoked and then reset as a $5,000 surety bond. The defendant was also arrested on new charges of financial transaction card theft, I believe, and theft of lost or mislaid property, excuse me. We are showing that the defendant failed to appear on our case on August 23rd, 2021. It was then reset. The defendant then failed to appear on December 6th of 2021. At that point, a arrest warrant was issued and the defendant's bond was revoked, which led to him being present here in the jail. The state's recommendation is that the bond remain as set, especially due to the fact that the defendant has a new charge from October 3rd of 2023 for that financial transaction card theft of lost or mislaid property under 23 CP 222685, which is a felony offense. And we do have concerns about his returning to court, given that he failed to appear on 2 separate occasions for this current case. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Mr. Ogle, just out of an abundance of caution in case he is present today.
All right, Mr. Ogle. Don't think he is. Go ahead, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, his bond request is, our bond request is principally based on, it is 1 count. And it does have, it's not really old, but it is from over 3 years ago. I've instructed him as to non-mail, not depending on the U.S. mail methods of never missing court, never not knowing your court date if your mail's not good. And that would consist of going down to the clerk's office every 3 weeks and checking in person on the computer, which is there for that purpose. So I understand what the state is saying about the recent arrest, and nonetheless, Your Honor, he would ask the court to consider a signature bond or lowering the bond, such as cutting it in half, and that would help him out.
Was that the only history state? I didn't.
Your Honor, I
Fine.
believe, let me just check really quickly. I believe that is his only history, the simple battery, family violence, the failure to appear. And then he was rearrested October 3rd for new felony charges, but they were theft related.
Right, and I should mention too, he is employed at a McDonald's restaurant.
And so does he on that new felony charge? I guess he does. Does he have a bond on that yet?
My understanding, Your Honor, is he was given a bond on that case. Let me just go back really quickly and look at the bond amount on the theft offense.
If I might interject, I'm looking at his current booking sheet. And apparently he's made bond on that, whether it was a signature or not, I don't know. But this case here, this case ending in H, is the only thing holding it. And it's currently at 5,000.
I will say he was given UJR on that new case, just, to put that out there, since the defendant did mention his employment, one of the conditions of his bond on the financial transaction card theft and the theft of lost or mislaid property is that he stay away from all Shell gas stations and McDonald's restaurants. So I don't believe he will be returning to that location for his employment, since he has been ordered to stay away from there since one of the thefts happened at that location.
Understood. I'll discuss that with him. Yeah, talk about that point.
All right, as far as the $5,000 surety bond on this new case, I'm going to have the bond to remain as it is, or remain the same at the $5,000 surety bond.
Understood, Your Honor. We'll discuss that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
If I will chance to come back there.
Just a request to the PD's office, is that a plea you would like me to hold open till the end of court?
Let's see. Yes, I need to grab the calendar again and yes, it is. Yes, we would like to discuss that further if you hold him.
Yes. Your Honor, I do want to make an announcement on, let's see, that would be position 13, Brandon Henderson.
All right.
And I'm not sure which of the PDs is representing Mr. Henderson's case.
What position?
Position 13, Mr. Brandon Henderson,
What calendar?
the main calendar, the SAP calendar, not the probation or vacation calendar.
Well, that would be me, but we had no offer, so.
No, that's what I was going to just put on the record for Judge Mincy. So that case, Your Honor, was we are currently in discussions with the district attorney's office about that case due to the severity of the injuries. There was a death in this particular matter. So we are not prepared to go forward, as we do not have all of the information on that case as of yet. I believe there is still at least one person that was hospitalized and is still undergoing treatment at this time. So the state is not prepared to go forward on that case. We would ask for a reset of at least a week and a half to 2 weeks, so that we can completely discuss this with the DA's office to determine if this case will be transferred back to the DA's office.
And Judge, I would ask for a much sooner reset. This case is not a DA case, even if, I mean, God forbid, more people die. It's still a vehicular homicide in the second degree. There's no allegation of aggressive driving or any alcohol or drug use or anything that would bring it into the felony. Just because there are multiple people with injuries, there may be multiple charges, but they're all still going to be misdemeanors. So we would ask that he be brought over. He's sitting in jail on a $33,000 bond on what appears to just be an accident. Yeah, an unfortunate accident where people were severely injured and somebody died, but still an accident.
State.
The state would reiterate our request for either Thursday, the 2nd, or Tuesday, the 7th of November, which is a week and a half to 2 weeks, as we initially requested.
All right, Ms. Strong.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, which date can we reset the case?
Either one. I mean,
The 2nd or the 7th?
give me a moment, please.
Okay.
The second is fine.
Okay. We'll reset it to November 2nd.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I will have a response at that time as far as whether we're ready to proceed.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the ACDC.
Morning.
I have 3 females here. The one sitting before you is position 13, Natasha Nicholson, on the probation calendar. And the other 2, position 10 and add-on 1, and position 14 and 15 are Attorney Tom Weiss.
All right, tell me again, this is position 13.
Yes, on the probation revocation calendar.
All right, this is 17 CR 003452J. Natasha Nicholson, charged with DUI, less safe, failure to maintain lane. State,
Yes.
I'm
Ms.
sorry,
Nicholson-
probation. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Ms. Nicholson failed to pay court fines in a total of $1,996, probation fees $480, did not complete a drug and alcohol evaluation, risk reduction course, victim impact panel, for 240 hours of community service, and did not appear for a prior hearing on April 24th. Give me 1 second. They did not put a year on here.
Judge, I may be able to save us a little time here. I think the recommendation was to close the case due to time served.
Yeah, she has 60 days remaining left on her case. Probation recommended is time served, case closed.
She'd be released within the next 24 hours. I think we're agreeable to that.
And that prior revocational hearing was April 24th of 2019.
All right. She's been in for 7 days.
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry,
14
14.
and one at DeKalb County where they arrested me at.
Is that correct, Officer Allison?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will accept the probation's recommendation of terminating, time served, case closed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome.
Judge,
Appreciate your consideration.
Position 5 and 6 on the probation calendar, Mr. Grover.
It's 3 South.
This is 21 CR.
Oh, I see. Nice.
This is 21 CR 00627-1B. David Groover, charged with obstructing highway, street, sidewalks, or public passages. 2 counts of that, 1 count of reckless conduct, and then the probation violation case.
Yeah, he is ready. Right.
All right, Officer Allison.
Yes, Mr. Grover failed to appear to the office on April 10th of 2023, April 17th of 2023, and May 10th of 2023. He did not complete a mental health evaluation. He has 104 days left remaining on his case. Probation is recommended for time served, case closed.
Yes,
right.
I believe he would be in agreement with that. He would understand that he will have it marked as closed unsatisfactorily. However, the benefit to him today is that his time served. And Mr. Gruber, do you understand all that? Very
All
good.
right. And I have him down for, he served 8 days,
No.
or is it more?
Let's see. It was,
Yeah.
it was 6 days as of 10/19. This is 5 days later, so probably about 11.
All right, I will accept the recommendation. Close the case, time served.
Position 10 and add-on 1, Dion Favors.
No, he hasn't went yet.
Judge, this is gonna be a not guilty, have her arraigned, but we'll wait formal reading.
All right, position 10. Dion Favors. 23 CR 00607 OB, 1 count of theft of services. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
And this is an arraignment.
That's
Did I
correct.
hear- All right,
We'll wait formal reading.
all right, Ms. Favors. Okay, this is an arraignment of your case. And I want to inform you that you're being charged with 1 count of theft of services, which is a misdemeanor. Your counsel has waived formal reading of the accusation. And with this charge, you're being formally accused by the Solicitor General of the Fulton County State Court. And this charge carries a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail or a maximum fine of $1,000. This case will be reset for a jury trial. That trial will be scheduled by the state court judge to whom the case is assigned. You will be further noticed for trial. Make sure that you keep your address updated if you are out on bond with your attorney so that you will receive those notices and with the clerk. And again, at the jury trial, you will have a right to an attorney. And just letting you know again that I will accept your plea of not guilty. And this case will be further reset for trial. All
Your Honor,
right.
I would, I don't have that, the information in front of me right now. We just want to confirm what her bond is, please.
She is actually not being held in custody on this case. She has a theft by shoplifting and giving false information under 23 CP 22241. Those are actually the cases she's currently being held in jail on, not her misdemeanor cases. I will just like to put on the record that the state is withdrawing our recommendation of 12 months probation, serve 4 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated, 40 hours community service, no further contact in an anti-theft course, as well as our recommendation on the add-on case, which was 12 months probation, balance suspended, stay away from the location.
Okay, can we get a number on that felony case? Do you have that information on what the bond is?
That bond is currently set at $15,000.
Okay, Ms. Favors. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
Positions 23 and 24, Taylor.
This is 22 CR 0085828, Marlon Taylor, as well as the FTA case.
Yeah, sure. That's ready for negotiation, please.
Negotiated plea,
Yes.
state.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months probation, served 24 days. The credit for time served 12 days. That it's going to be from December 30th of 2022 to December 31st of 2022 and October 14th of 2023 until today. We are also asking for a stay away from Wheat Street Charitable Foundation. That's located at 339 Old Wheat Street, Atlanta, Georgia. The state is requesting that the defense stipulate to venue identification and factual basis.
And we do so stipulate.
All right. And I understand, Mr. Taylor, you wish to plead guilty, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me and I'll swear you in? Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. The first being, are you under the influence of any unprescribed medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time that would impair your understanding?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
I am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And that, are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
I am.
And has anyone told you that you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be revoked or affected by a guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
I do.
And as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Yes.
All right, and so you understand the conditions of the stay away, correct?
I do.
Okay. Anything else? I will accept your guilty plea. And please
Nothing.
adhere to those conditions. Yes.
Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 13, probation number 14, 3 South.
I'm sorry, didn't quite hear that again. Position,
Probation number 14 on 3 South, Mr. Phillips.
okay.
So he's another one. Right. We do know that.
This is Alfred Phillips. 20 CR 000554Y. Is that correct on 3 South?
It is Mr. Phillips.
Okay,
All
right.
I see Mr. Phillips, Your Honor. My understanding is the recommendation is going to be continue on probation. And I would believe that he's fine with that and appreciates that. If he has any questions, I can run up to 3 South and answer them. But that's the recommendation we're going to be hearing from JCS.
all right. Probation,
Yes. Mr. Phillips failed to pay probation fees in total $280, victim crime funds in total $63. Did not report to the office on November 22nd of 2022, December 30th of 2022, and March 30th of 2023. He did not complete 3 days of anger management. He has 148 days left remaining on probation. Probation is recommended for continue on probation and enroll in the classes within 14 days and to report to the office within 48 hours upon release.
all right, you understand that, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, but I was told that my probation ended when I went down there. I had got a new probation officer, and I went down there. And she told me it was over with.
Not for sure if that's correct.
Well, I mean, when I went down there to Pryor Street, that's down there where the courthouse was at. She told me it was over with. She had a police officer with her. that was standing next to her, and she told me I don't have to come to probation no more.
I don't think Officer Allison has any knowledge of that, do you?
No, I do not.
I mean, I had a new probation officer. I don't know,
Well, you're still on probation.
As I said, I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can help with. I can come visit him on 3 South, but if this is the only thing holding him, then that conversation will be at our office.
All right. So you're going to still be on probation, Mr. Phillips. Did you hear that you have to still complete your anger management courses within 14 days? You've got to report in 48 hours.
Okay.
You have 148 days still on probation.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that about the days.
Right. All right. So make sure you report within 48 hours of your release and speak to your attorney so you can get back on track.
Okay.
All right. So I will
Hey.
accept that and continue with your probation.
And you said that anger management is in 14 days. I have to get that done in 14 days.
Right.
Understand.
All right. They will give you that information. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Position 14 and 15, Jana Howell at ACDC.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm sorry, Ms. Wilson. Let 4 South go. They haven't went. That's Gothi.
Okay, we have position number 9 through 12, Mr. Lampkin.
Good morning, Your Honor. I represent Mr. Lampkin.
Good morning. Okay.
You need to speak with him, Ms. McLeod?
No, I am not able to speak with,
Okay.
All
and I
right.
don't know what the patient's recommendation is.
All right. Go ahead, Officer Allison.
Yes, so he has 2 cases. On the first case, 22CR005315J, Mr. Lampkin failed to report to the office on April 3rd, 2023, April 10th of 2023, and May 2nd of 2023. He failed to complete 8 weeks of anger management. He has 199 days remaining in this case. Probation is recommended to continue on probation and enroll in classes within 14 days. I don't know if you want to handle that matter first before I continue on to the second case.
All right. Ms. McLeod, anything?
Well, that would be what I would ask for, Your Honor, because I do know that at the time my client took the plea, he was in jail. And I don't believe that he got out immediately thereafter. So that, I believe, is one of the reasons why he has not been reporting.
All right. I will let him continue on probation on the first case. And Mr. Lampkin, you hear those conditions that you need to get completed, and then I guess he has to report within 48 hours of his release. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let's hear the second case.
And on the second case, it will be 21CR002098J. He did not report on the same day's report on the last case, and he failed to pay restitution amount of $532. He has 257 days remaining in this one. Probation is recommended to continue on probation, start making restitution payments within 30 days, and to report to the office within 48 hours upon release.
All right. Ms. McLeod, anything?
Yes, Your Honor. I am glad that his probation is not going to be revoked. At the time when he took the plea, I did point out to the prosecutor that he would need some time to get back on his feet before he could start paying. He had been locked up for some considerable time. My recollection is, and I have not been able to check, it was over a year that he had been locked up. It was a considerable amount of time. So after you've been locked up that long, it takes a moment before you can get back on your feet, get a job, and get things going. So I think that is one of the reasons that he has not been able to pay, Your Honor. But I'm glad that his probation is not going to be revoked. I believe it should be reinstated.
All right, I will reinstate the probation. And again, Mr. Lampkin, you gotta get back on track, okay? All right,
Thank
we continue probation. Thank
Please.
you.
I just wanted to know when he's going to be released, Your Honor.
I'm hoping within 24 hours. So that
I'm-
you can report in 48 hours. Do you have any information on that?
Mr. Lampkin, do you still have my number? If you don't, please ask the officer to give it to you and call me when you get out.
All right.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can we come back to HCDC, Your Honor, with position 14 and 15, Jada Howell?
Jada is up. Jada is up.
All right, this is 21 CR 00877J. Jada Howell charged with 1 count of simple battery, 2nd count of criminal trespass. And what is the announcement?
Judge,
I'm sorry.
it's a negotiated plea, Your Honor.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on count 1, the simple battery, was 12 months probation, serve 2 days, credit for time served for 1 day. That was February 18th, 2021 to February 19th, 2021. Balance probated, no further contact with Adriana Wright, who is the homeowner. Stay away from 5401 Old National Highway, number 111, and 12 weeks of anger management. Count 2 is 12 months probation concurrent with count 1, and we are asking restitution be held open for 30 days. And we would like to sound for Miss Adriana Wright in case she is present. And the state would ask that the defense stipulate to venue identification and factual basis. That is all.
All right, Adriana, right? All right,
So stipulated.
okay. Miss, and then we have a second case, correct? Oh, well, that's for the,
That's the FTA, Your
FTA.
Honor.
all right, for the FTA. All right, Ms. Howell, I understand that you wish to plead guilty. Is that correct? Can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to swear you in and then again, make sure that you understand what you're doing. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. And again, it's my understanding that you wish to plead guilty, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol this time that would impair your understanding?
No.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes.
And that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes.
And you understand and are prepared to agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
Has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you are currently on probation, that it could be affected or revoked by this guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
As to the charge of simple battery, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea, and you do understand the conditions that the state has read, correct? That
Yes,
you need to
ma'am.
comply with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we'll give you a chance and good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is going to be on the probation calendar, Mr. Cofino, positions 1 and 2.
This is 21 CR 0010112Y. Mr. Cofino. Probation.
Yes, Mr. Cofino failed to pay court fines in a total of $1,388.50, probation fees in a total of $160, victim crime funds in a total of $36, failed to complete 92 hours of community service, and did not appear for a prior revocational hearing on August 19th, 2023. I'm sorry, that'd be September 19th, 2023. He has 23 days left remaining on probation. Probation is recommended for time served, case closed.
All right.
I'm good with that, Judge.
All right, I will allow Mr. Cofino to remain on probation. And Mr. Cofino, you've got to meet with your attorney and get back on track, okay?
Judge, actually,
Your Honor, this was time served, case closed. Are we doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mr. Cofino. So this is credit for time served, and case will be closed. You will not continue to be on probation.
thank
All
you,
right.
Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Judgments, we're completed here in courtroom 2. The rest of the positions are going to be coming from the floors. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Position number 26, Mr. Vito.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have sent the transfer order to the litigation manager on position 26. That case was accepted by the DA's office as a felony transfer.
All right.
And we have informed him, Your Honor.
Okay. What do we have next?
Next position is 16 and 17 on the SAP calendar, and I think he's also on the probation calendar, but I don't have those position numbers. This is Joan Louise.
Okay.
Right, that would be Jean-Louis Willem.
All right. Position 16, I have Willem Jean-Louis 23 CR 005984F, charge at 1 count of criminal trespass, the 2nd count of theft by shoplifting.
And he is position 7 and 8 on the probation calendar, Your Honor.
All right, and then we have position 17 as well. Same 2 charges. No, on position 17, let me read that one. 23 CR 006230F. He's charged with 1 count of criminal 2 counts of criminal trespass. And then on the revocation calendar.
Right, Your Honor, he does have this position 16, position 17, and the recommendations from JCS on the probation calendar are going to be compatible with this negotiated pleas on the main calendar.
Can I
Okay.
inquire with the PD's office? The defendant had a 3rd open case that I notated on the calendar. Is that going to be a plea to that case as well?
That's what I was about to ask as well.
Thank you.
I believe so. Mr. Willem, You remember the third case we talked about that wasn't on the calendar? I didn't have quite as much information about. But do you feel we've discussed it enough to go forward in that same fashion?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's your decision, because the judge will ask you if you're satisfied with our discussion. And I think that does make sense to go forward and add that on.
Okay, Judge Mincy, can I give you the case number for that additional case that he's taking a plea on as well?
Yes.
It's 23 CR 004-590 as in Frank.
What's the charges?
Your Honor, that is a criminal
Criminal
trespass
trespass.
charge.
So, that pedestrian in a roadway.
That is correct.
All right, I have the third case as well now. And then on the position 7 for the probation revocation calendar as well. Let's take the pleas and then we'll come to the probation case.
Yes, Your Honor. On position 16, we are asking on count 1, the criminal trespass, 12 months probation, serve 25 days in jail, credit for time served 12 days. That's going to be from October 6th, 2023 to October 7th, 2023, and then October 15th, 2023 to present. We're requesting balance probated, stay away from the Exxon at 1105 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell. Count 2, the theft by shoplifting, we are requesting 12 months probation concurrent with count 1. Stay away from the Exxon at 1105 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell and an anti-theft course. As to his second case, position 17, that is 2 counts of criminal trespass. Count 1, the state is requesting 12 months probation, serve 20 days, credit for time served 10 days. That would be from October 15th of 2023, balance probated, stay away from the Exxon at 1105 Holcomb Bridge Road. That case is to run concurrent with 23 CR 005984F. On count 2, criminal trespass, the state is requesting 12 months probation. Concurrent with count 1, stay away from the Exxon at 1105 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell, and we are requesting that restitution remain open for 30 days. Finally, as to his third case, 23 CR 004590, the state is requesting on count 1, the criminal trespass, 12 months probation, serve 6 days, credit for time served 3 days. That would be from July 24th of 2023 to July 26th of 2023, balance suspended, stay away from the Studio 6 Motel located at 9955 Old Dogwood Road, Roswell. On count 2, the pedestrian in a roadway, the state is requesting time served and concurrent with count 1. The state would ask if the defense does stipulate to venue identification and factual basis as to all 3 cases. You're muted, courtroom 2, just in case there was a response. We were not able to hear that.
Yes, he does so stipulate on all 3 cases.
All right. And Mr. Jean-Louis, I understand that you wish to plead guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, got to swear you in. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and again, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I'm going to try to do this jointly with all 3 cases, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so presently, are you under the influence of any, you can put your hand down. Are you presently under the influence of any unprescribed medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time that would impair your understanding?
No, Your Honor.
All right, are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty to these 3 cases, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected or revoked by the guilty pleas here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you offer these guilty pleas freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of all the charges against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so in the first case, ending in 5984F with the charge of criminal trespass and theft by shoplifting, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And as to the second case ending in 6230F, as to the charges of 2 counts of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And as to the third case ending in 4590F, as to the charge of criminal trespass and pedestrian in the roadway, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea on all 3 cases. And you understand all the conditions and the stayaways that you will adhere to, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Jean-Louis.
Thanks, Your Honor. Do the same.
We have that probation matter while he's
Oh.
sitting. If they would bring him back to the chair.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jean-Louis, yes. Okay. All right, we have a probation case. Probation,
Yes, he failed to pay probation fees in a total of $80, victim crime funds in a total of $18, did not complete drug and alcohol evaluation, did not appear for a prior revocational hearing on October 9th of 2023. He has 211 days remaining. Probation is recommended to continue on probation, report within 48 hours upon release, and complete the drug and alcohol evaluation within 30 days.
all right. So did you hear that, Mr. Jean-Louis?
Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to allow you to continue on probation to complete that as well. And you still have to get that drug and alcohol evaluation once you get out, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so continue and report, talk to your attorney about completing conditions for that probation, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
You know, because he is residentially challenged, of course, the main point, Mr. Willem, can you still hear me? I'll go 3 south. That's fine.
Okay, they're moving them pretty quickly over there.
That's fine, I understand.
Okay,
Position number 18, Timothy Jones.
okay.
That's negotiated plea.
And Your Honor, I missed the announcement on the probation revocation for Mr. Jean-Louis.
That he will continue on probation
Okay,
and complete the evaluation.
thank you.
All right, this is 23 CR 0061114B, Timothy Jones, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, criminal trespass, and possession and use of drug-related objects.
You know, this case also has, there's also another open case out there that's not on the calendar.
That is correct, Your Honor. It's 1 count of criminal trespass. That case is, and let me know when Your Honor is ready for that case number.
I think I see it is at the 21 CR.
Correct, 00292291B.
Correct.
Right, and I did tell him of that. I discussed the offer conveyed in writing at that time yesterday.
Is it willing to accept that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are we on?
Position 18, Timothy Jones.
Yeah, Timothy B. Jones and an unpublished add-on.
So what was the other case number?
It is 21 CR 002291B.
What's the letter?
B is in boy. Your Honor, are you ready for me to go over the recommendation?
I am. Go ahead, State.
On count one, the willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, we are requesting time served. Count two, we are requesting 12 months, served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. That would be from October 10th of 2023. Balance suspended. Stay away from all MARTA stations. That would run concurrent with count one. As far as count three, the possession of drug-related objects, state is requesting time served concurrent with count one. On his remaining case, that 21 CR 002291B, that is the criminal trespass. The state is asking for 12 months probation, balance suspended. Stay away from 373 Washington Road in East Point, which is the Lexington Apartments. The state would ask the defense to stipulate to venue identification and factual basis as to both cases. Thank you.
And Your Honor, we do so stipulate as to both on those elements on both cases.
All right. Mr. Jones? I understand that you wish to plead guilty today. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to swear you in first and then ask you a series of questions. Raise your right hand for me.
All right.
Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. First question I have for you is, are you under the influence of any unprescribed medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time that would impair your understanding?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
Has anyone told you that you'd receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're on probation, it could be revoked or affected by the guilty plea here today?
Yes.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so is the charge of willful obstruction, how do you plead?
Guilty, ma'am.
As to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of possession and use of drug-related objects?
Guilty.
All right, and then we have a second case ending in 2291B for one count of criminal trespass. How do you plead in that case?
Guilty.
Okay. All right, I will accept your guilty plea. You have some conditions here and stayaways, and you will understand that you will adhere to those, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else from council?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Deputy Falk.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Jones. Do we have anyone else? You haven't done
We still have some-
19.
We definitely still have some cases on the
I was
calendar.
like, yeah, we have position 19.
I don't think we addressed position 2, which was Mr. Darnell Berry.
Let's see. Let me start over. Right, 2, 1, Oh, I see one was sent to the DA's office. Okay.
Correct. We are still waiting on that order to be signed and sent back to us. He's a theft by shoplifting recidivist, so there's nothing barring the DA's office from taking that case.
Okay. Two, they said was a plea, but I don't know.
That's in medical right there. That is Mr. Berry, Judge.
Okay, medical and, oh, I see.
Right. So we can do that.
We can do this one, okay. This is 23 CR 006296Y Darnell Berry, charged with one count of criminal trespass. And it's my understanding, Mr. Berry, that you wish to plead guilty, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, state.
Your Honor, state's recommendation is 12 months probation, serve 25 days in jail, credit for time served for 13 days. That's from October 12th of 2023. Balance suspended and stay away from the Chevron at 890 Cleveland Avenue. The state would ask if the defense is willing to stipulate to venue identification and factual basis.
We stipulated, yes, Judge, we stipulated. But this to me reads balance suspended, stay away from the Chevron, not balance probated.
I said balance suspended.
Okay.
Okay,
Judge.
all right. Mr. Berry, in order to take your plea, I need to swear you in and then ask you a series of questions, okay? Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, put your hand down for me. Are you presently under the influence of any unprescribed medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time that would impair your understanding?
No, ma'am.
Okay, are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving your right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you are giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you.
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So they've not promised you anything, correct? To plead guilty.
Right.
Okay. And they've not told you get a lesser sentence because you plead guilty.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So they've not told you that you would get a lesser sentence if you pled guilty, right?
Right, yes, right, yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that you're currently on probation? Your probation could be affected by a guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so again, as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty. I plead guilty.
Okay.
Guilty.
All right, good. Just making sure you understand, okay? And so you can comply with staying away from that Chevron on Cleveland Avenue, right?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
And so if you go back there, you're going to end up back in jail. So don't go there, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
I won't.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
All right. And anything else, counsel, or that conclude his matter?
That does conclude his matter, Your Honor.
Nothing
All
further.
right, thank you. Good luck to you.
Okay. Well, Water, anti,
Then who else did we not, do Deputy Fogg?
We
Let's
still have not
see.
addressed position 19, Mr. Rodney Mack.
And are we still
19.
waiting to circle back around to 22? Mr. McLean's case?
Okay.
No, I was asking, I'm sorry, Judge.
Oh, on 22?
Mrs. Seaburg's.
Done that. That one's done. Your Honor, there's nothing further. We did hold him back for a bit, but he went on back to his 4, so there's nothing further on that today.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
So it's a jail jury?
Yes.
Yeah.
My apologies, Your Honor. I missed that last announcement. Which one is
Well,
going?
on 20, on 22, Mr. Seabird, that was a bond modification, was it not?
Correct.
It was, and we had him here physically for a while to discuss further about possibly taking the offer today, and that was declined, so we sent him back to the zone.
Okay,
Okay.
so with that being said, the state is revoking our recommendation of 12 months probation, served 20 days, credit for time served 10 days, which would have released him, balanced probation, 12-week anger management, no further contact, stay away from Elite Lane.
Yeah, we been so informed, so
What was his bond modification?
It
None.
remained as set.
I'm
So
sorry.
it's- Yeah, it remains as set at
Oh,
5,000.
so it wasn't a modification.
correct.
Well, I denied it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that what we're just like, thank you. What about? Did we do all of these? Yeah. Everyone's there.
So I think we have one remaining, and that would be Rodney Mack.
Okay.
And where is he? That's a negotiated plea.
Okay.
I don't, what was it? Yeah. She. Yeah. What? You know, this thing. You did the Marietta annex, if that helps anybody.
Right, the location is a few feet away from the main jail building. It's called Marietta Annex Building. Yeah, it's just balance of.
Probation 3 and 4, Dickinson.
All right, this is 22 CR 005695D, Jarrett Dickerson, charged at 1 count of criminal trespass and a probation violation. Probation?
Yes. Mr. Dickerson failed to pay probation fees in total $240, victim crime fines in total $54, did not complete 60 hours community service, and did not appear for a prior revocation hearing on July 11th, 2023. He had 40 days remaining on his case. Probation is recommended for a time served, case closed.
Okay,
But we're in agreement with the closing the case.
all right. I will, since there's only 40 days remaining, I will go ahead and allow the case to close and probation will terminate. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Dickerson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And that concludes probation matters. Can I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You
He
too.
want to ask a question. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Probation gone now.
What, I have another court date on November 20th. Can I get that court date moved up? It's for another case. I'm not sure how it works.
It's not a case on my calendar today. I cannot address that. I don't know what you have for November 20th. You'll have to speak to your attorney about that.
Who's your attorney in that case?
Miss Carissa.
Say it again?
Miss Carissa.
That sounds like a felony,
Internado.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a felony.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't help you on that, but they will get you a number to speak to the attorney about that.
Okay, can somebody speak to me? Because I haven't seen her.
It's a felony.
Okay, they will get you a number to get in contact with her.
All right, thank you.
So we got a guy, we're waiting on one person. He's at the Marietta Inmates. Marietta.
It should be. You're not logged on? It should be logged
They got
on.
a Zoom camera at Marietta? It's just a few feet
If
away.
not, then I'll have to call you.
It's gonna be in about 4 minutes. You're pretty fast working, we got a back. Hey, that's what.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do. Come on.
He has his own attorney.
Yeah. Mallory, not Ray Mallory. Everybody is watching.
All right, let me start calling.
Judge Massey, do you mind if we go over the calendar while we're waiting for position number 19?
Ma'am, we can do that.
Position number 1 is transferred to Superior Court. Position number 2 was a negotiated plea. Position number 3 is reset for next Tuesday's SAP calendar, October the 31st. Position number 4, 5, 6 were released. Position number 7 was an amended bond, $5,000 good bond with a no further contact with Flavio Underwood, Christopher Underwood, and a stay away from 1201 Peachtree Street and 1 Atlantic Center. Also reset for next Tuesday's SAP calendar, October 31st. Position number 8 and 9 were released. Position number 10 was arraigned, reset jail jury. Position number 11 and 12 were released. Position number 13 was reset for November the 2nd SAP calendar. Position number 14 was a negotiated plea. Position number 15 was non-pros. Position number 16 was a negotiated plea. 17 and 18 were negotiated pleas. Mr. Jones added case 21 CR 002-291B was also negotiated plea. Position number 19 we're holding on. Position number 20 was a not guilty reset jail jury. Position number 21 was a negotiated plea. Position number 22, not guilty, reset jail jury. Position number 23 was a negotiated plea. Position number 24, was null cross. Position number 25 was reset for October the 31st, next Tuesday, SAP calendar. And position number 26 was transferred to Superior Court. And on the add-on calendar, position number 1 was arraigned, not guilty, reset jail jury.
Yeah.
They're not, sir.
Okay, so. Oh, that's right. Hold on, let me get my interviews. Hold on. Let me start my interview.
I can call
You have the number?
them. No, if you give me the number, I'll call them. I mean, you got it, but if you don't have it. It's Rodney. Yeah. He's an MA. Need a booking number?
Hey, Jones. Hey, you have a bar that needs to be, on the report. Right, Mag, you guys already know, right? Thank you. Yes, you talking to me?
212.
You said 212? 212.
212, is that, I mean, like.
Let me look at the paper, hold on. They're missing a guy from Marietta Annex, Rodney Mack. Okay, it says, 207.
We don't have a problem on this product. There should be a letter in front of it.
MA 207.
NA?
M as in Max, MA 207.
Is in Marietta.
No, we don't have the M. Hold on one second.
And Your Honor, I just sent the no pros orders for Jada Howell and Marlon Taylor. Their FTA cases to Ms. Strong. So if she can just let me know if she receives those. And I believe that's all of the no pros orders that I needed to execute today.
I have them.
Thank you, Ms. Strong.
Here we go. Your Honor, upon analyzing the booking sheet, he is not being held, Mr. Rodney Mack, the one we're waiting for, is not being held in jail on this calendar's charge. He's being held in jail on a $2,500 bond entering auto, which obviously is not yet made. If we reset this case 2 days, there would be no harm.
And Judge, he's on sanitation detail, so we don't know his current location. He's not in his.
And that is correct, Your Honor. The case he's being held on is 23 CP 22210, which 101, excuse me, which is that entering auto case in the DA's office.
Okay.
Why don't we just reset that 2 days and see him on Thursday?
We're gonna hold off on making sure that we can reset their case for Thursday, Mr. McLean. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that. Mr. Jordan said he can go on Thursday.
Thursday, okay. The 26th.
26
That
it
is
is. Thank
correct,
you.
Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, we'll do that. Anything else?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, see you later. Take care, everybody. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.